Here's your host, Alex Garrett.
All right, well, here on the Alex Garrett Podcast Network, in my haste to be really opinionated about this, emotional, I still call Matt Gaetz a lizard man. I mean, I'm not taking that back. What he did yesterday was despicable. But you know what? I think Rep. McCarthy, or Speaker McCarthy, former Speaker McCarthy, right, had to see this coming. When you make concessions the very first day you are Speaker, or even to get the votes to become Speaker, where only one person in that House can make a motion to pretty much kick you out of the Speakership, you don't see that being a problem a few months later? The concessions that Speaker McCarthy made led to yesterday and led to Saturday, when Gaetz actually filed the motion, and the voting happened. And now we don't have a Speaker, forget this, a week. What'd they do, go on vacation for a week? What is this? We have an interim acting Speaker, Pat McHenry, who I guess slammed the gavel down after closing session in frustration. Guess he doesn't want the position. But my thing is, A, Gaetz is an idiot. B, I didn't really extrapolate how this all came about, because maybe you don't know. Maybe Zach Miller is right. I needed to educate people more that this was brewing in January. I would say Saturday, but this was brewing back in January. 15 rounds to begin with to get McCarthy elected. And the concessions he made, the biggest one being only one, not a majority, not even a small minority, one person in the House could vote him out or file a motion to get everybody else on board to vote him out. But that's a lot of power for one person of 400 plus members of Congress? That's a lot of power. So, former Speaker McCarthy, you then complained yesterday, why wasn't this a majority? You allowed one person when you made that concession. It didn't have to be Matt Gaetz. It just happened to be Matt Gaetz because he's just out for himself. It didn't have to be Gaetz, but it of course would be him, because he's had issues with McCarthy for a long time. But to then complain, hey, why didn't a majority save me? Well, why'd you allow one person to even make a motion to do all of this? Why did you concede so much? And I feel for Speaker McCarthy, because I think he was trying to do the right thing here by going across the aisle and averting a government shutdown. As I said yesterday, American government workers are Americans, and they're people too. And McCarthy knew the drasticness of a government shutdown. So they averted it. But then to go on at 7:30 last night and then complain about, well, why wasn't this done a majority and this, that, and the other, and why didn't the House Democrats don't like you, dude. They probably like the shivs in your back by the Republican Party. Are you kidding me? And then you complain about the minority versus majority rule. Well, look, again, this concession that was made in January has led to this. And then my final point before I sign off for today, on the One Leg Up feature anyway. I now see if not immediate, a soon resignation of McCarthy. I see him resigning. How can you sit at the lunch table with fellow Republicans, a lot of them who probably voted you out? How could you even go to the House cafeteria the same ever again? And then to be, from our perspective, the onlookers' perspective, embarrassed the way that, being voted out as Speaker is an embarrassing thing, especially when you're first Speaker ever to be voted out, has to be an angry feeling. And the optics of it is it's embarrassing. And it's also embarrassing on Gaetz' part, and I think he's going to be, hopefully, something done with him too for even floating this idea for it to be a reality. But now you're seeing calls for Trump. You're seeing calls for Scalise. You're seeing calls for Jordan. I just do not see, and I'm going to make this prediction before, and I don't think anybody else has yet. I'm going to make this prediction. Kevin McCarthy will not be a congressman at all in the near future. He may very well resign. And I think I just can't see him staying on to partake in the vote to replace him. I just cannot see it. But imagine if all this was a push to get Trump as speaker. An idea he himself has floated, by the way. That would be even more chaotic in the House. Be a media circus. Forget about the New York trial going on right now where the judge is smiling. It'd be a circus if he got nominated and elected as Speaker of the House. Albeit he might have some great ideas to inject into the House. It'd be a circus. But I only can say this. Kevin McCarthy reaped what he sowed when he conceded to having one member of Congress, any one of them, be able to make the motion to kick him out as Speaker. And though it's under really awful premise of, oh my God, bipartisanship, what a terrible idea. Oh my God, working with the Democrats across the island, get a deal done, what a terrible idea. Is it though? Was it though? That's the hill, pun intended, that this faction of Republicans that wanted McCarthy out are going to die on? That means they don't want bipartisanship. You understand that, right? And without bipartisanship, how can the government function? All right, I'm done for now. I got to cool off a little bit. We'll be back at some point on the Alex Garrett Podcast Network. Thanks for listening. Continue to do so. Alex G Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Alex G NYC1 is my main vein, if you will. Alex G NYC1. Instagram and Twitter. I kind of like having all of it aligned. It's easier to find. And we'll talk to you soon. But yes, Kevin McCarthy will resign sooner than later. Mark my words. Or I'll just eat crow, I guess. I don't know. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.